Hello everyone and welcome back to Painting with Martin. Today I'm back with another painting video of Epic Battle Hail Caesar. And today we're going to take a look at the Roman Triarii heavy infantry, which is the last video of the Roman infantry line that I've been painting so far. If you haven't checked out my other videos, please do so. You'll be learning how to paint the Roman Principes as well as the Roman Velitus light and medium infantry as well. Now, with that said, I've already put these ones up on a sprue like this. I'm going to show you what it looks like and also give you a tip what not to do, because you can paint them while you have them glued on the sprue on the base like this. I should say, not base, not sprue, base, not sprue. Sorry. And it's going to be very hard for you to reach into all these areas. You can see here, it's like you have to angle it, and like maybe you have to get it to work, and it's not going to be very efficient and convenient. So, but this is what it looks like. I will film a separate video how to assemble these ones on the base as well. But for now, I'm going to take these apart, and I'm going to take it really carefully apart here like this, and they come off really easily. And now they come here. I've already primed these one using a Vallejo white primer, and there's also a pre-based these ones, or pre-painted these with Vallejo German grey for the armor, for me to give me a little bit easier time when it comes to painting the armor and save some time as well. Now I'm going to use a reference that I've showed you before, and I'm going to be using this as a reference. This is the Roman Triarii. You can see that he has a heavy long spear instead of a throwing javelin, a short sword, a Roman red scutum shield, a red tunic and heavy armor as well, bronze helmet as we know from before, as well as the red helmet crest. So with that said, we're going to go straight into and paint the shields first, because that's going to be a big part of the miniature, as well as all the red parts such as tunics, as well as the red helmet crests. And we're going to start off by painting the shields with some contrast Blood Angels red for this miniature. Giving it a good shake first, and then opening it, and you apply it neat because this one acts as both as a wash as well as a base paint. So with this one said, we're going to see how it turns out. I don't know. It's the first time I'm painting these. And as such, you just put the paint on like this. Make sure that you don't cover the miniature's face, and if you want to, you can just do like this, and it doesn't have to be super smooth, because the wash, or actually the miniature paint here, will soak into the recesses. Here I touched the miniature's face here by mistake. Maybe it got damaged. Got some blood in his face perhaps. That can add as battle damage as well, which is also nice. But as you see here, the paint is really smooth, and we will be able to cover up any mistakes or feel that it's too dark or too red with some dry brushing afterwards. I'm going to give you a good hint like this, what it looks like this. And now I'm going to, it's falling off a little bit. So the Roman scutum shield, as used here, is of course used as, red. That's the most traditional one. I painted the other shields in various colors based on historical accuracy, and not particularly from Warlord Games pictures and reference materials, because I don't have the main box here. Warlord Games gave me these ones on sprues on SNSP last year, so they're a little bit late to paint, but they're still available in the Warlord Games webshop. So you can see the link in the description box, and you can see that it's going to be available there as well. There is a variety of both starter packs as well as extra materials and extra stuff you can buy there, including big army boxes as well if you really want to get into it. And I'm going over here just make sure I cover everything. Make sure that you cover the sides as well here. Okay, seems like this one I need to replace the sticky material that I used for this painting handle by Warlord Games. If you like this material, if you like this painting handle, which I think is phenomenal, then you can check it out later on. There will be a link in the description box. Painting the top of the shields here as well, as such, and going on into the bottom in case, as such. It takes a little bit of time to do this, but with a little bit of practice you get the hang of it. As such, already looking quite okay. And you can also paint the back here of the shield if you want to. I'm going to cover the back of the shield with another material, another paint. So with this one, now we can go over and paint these ones for the helmet crest. And it's good to paint one of them at a time, one side at a time. Like this. We're going to go over and paint the others, the other infantry at this point as well. I just want to show you what it looks like to paint the helmet crest as well, because they look quite nice once they're done. And now it's going to be a little bit tricky to get to the other side. I may have to take off my glasses because I wear glasses. And I'm going to show you up here a little bit close and personal. Like this. Hopefully it's not too close for you guys. I'm also doing it for my sake, so I can get to put some paint on these ones. And of course, don't forget the top in case you miss anything. Looks quite okay. You don't paint the inside here, as I showed you before, simply because there's no point for it. But you can actually here paint the red tunic that is seen here in between, because they did wore red tunics. And if you get something on the main, like this stuff here, no problem. Also, they wore a little bit of a red tunic underneath here, so you're going to cover this one too. And that means with this one is done mostly. We're going to go over to the rest of them and make sure we cover that too. Any remaining shields, same color. And it's better to do this in batches, so that's why I'm showing this one on all the part of the all miniatures. So because I prefer comprehensive tutorials. So here you only have the top of the shield. If you have the regular box, then you will have decals to put, and you can do that after you put, and this one is dried. I don't have the decals, but there is a video that I shot before, a couple of months ago, how to put decals on miniatures. I'm not very successful in that video because I'm quite terrible in putting decals, but it gives you a basic clue of what to do at least and what materials you need. And underneath the shield here, don't forget this. Don't forget the underneath of the shield here. And same thing goes back here a little bit for the red tunic here. The red tunic over here as well. We'll paint the red tunic on his shoulders before we continue to paint the helmet crests as we did before. As such. And now the tricky part, to put the crests. And the other side, which is a little bit easier. Angle the miniature as you see fit. Now, since I'm using a painting handle, it's a lot easier, as you can see, because I can turn this one around. It has a nice rotation fixture here. That's why I also really like it. Then you don't have to turn the miniature, you can just turn the painting handle as such. And I also want to say a big thank you to Warlord Games for giving me these miniatures that I really asked for to paint and show you how it looks like. A little bit left here on the shields, and you can see at the top of the shields can be filled in here too. Also, you can paint the rest here, which I forgot in the other one. You can actually paint these ones here, taking care not to touch the faces, because you can use this as tunics. I'll go back and do that for the others that I just missed. As such. Okay, gonna go back and paint these ones that I missed, making sure that I cover all the top here. As well as the back. And do the back here as well. As you see fit. Alright, and we got one left with the red. Hopefully it's not too boring, but I prefer, as I said, it's really good to have all these red details covered and done with. And now I'm taking care not to touch the face as much as I really don't want to. And contrast red is a really, really nice color here. If you don't have this one, any other red will do quite well. Here you can paint them almost as a batch like this. Then you know exactly where to put the paint. Going over here. Then you go over it like this, as such. So, Roman Triarii infantry, a little bit of a history lesson now, because I like to include a little bit of history in each video that I shoot. Roman Triarii were the backbone, or I should say, this was the last line of defense for the Roman Republic infantry. or Roman Republic armies, I should say. I'm going over to, like I said, I've already painted these in the other stages. So I'm just explaining the history as I paint, and as you can see here, this is how you do it. So the Roman Triarii comprised of the most experienced soldiers. They were the most heavily armed, and they said that there was even expression in Latin, which of course I don't know right now. I should have found that out for you. And it simply goes translated to English something like, let's go back to the Triarii. It even carried on to the Roman Empire days, when the Romans didn't use Triarii but legionaries. Here I go over there to the backbone here. As you can see, this is what you didn't do. A little bit of these ones. So let's go back to the Triarii. Was saying like, this is our last line of defense. The Roman Triarii were heavily armed, experienced. They were the best of the best. They were expected to hold the line where everything was faltering. Their army was maybe routing, but the Triarii was expected to hold the line at any cost. And in many cases they did, even against Hannibal's elephants and other experienced Carthaginian units. So when you field these ones, you shouldn't just throw them in as like, piecemeal infantry, but simply wait with them until use them as shock infantry, or simply to break the enemy line, or to hold your own while the enemy is trying to break through. These ones can be expected to do the job. Almost done with all the red. Thank heavens for that. Just a tiny final touch left. I've got these ones here, the tunics. Don't like to leave any white traces behind if I can help it. All right, seems like we're done. Of course, wash your brush, and we can now go in to paint all the silver details before we go in and paint the skin. So as this, we're using Vallejo's gunmetal, a really good color to use. Putting it out in my wet palette here. Hopefully I had some left. Yes, I did. So with this, I'm using a Winsor & Newton Cotman series brush, a size 2. You can use something smaller if you like. And I'm starting off with this one here. As such, don't put too much paint, and simply applying it neat over the German grey area. If you miss a spot, not a problem, because the German grey will act as kind of like a nice shading. If you want to, after this stage is done, you can apply a little bit of Nuln oil in this one to dull the effect of the silver, of the gunmetal. Because the Roman Triarii, they wore heavy chainmail armor, also known as a lorica hamata in Latin. In Hollywood series, you will rarely see this, because everyone in Hollywood tends to think that you used the plate armor, also known as lorica segmentata. But the Romans used chainmail after being inspired by the Gauls, who used it first when they fought the Gauls as well, and they were inspired by them because the chainmail offered superior protection from anything at the time. So, of course, since the Roman Triarii infantry were the best of the best, they also got the best equipment. Roman Principes, which I painted before, and there's a video on it on my channel, they of course had chainmail protection as well, but they weren't as experienced. And since these were used as a last line defense and also used as shock troops, now let's go back here and paint the tip of the spears for these ones. I'm using a wet palette off camera here. If you want to learn how to make your own wet palette in a very cheap and basic way, you can check out the video on my channel for that. Let's turn up our attention to the back of the spears. As such, go over them one more time for another coat. All right, and we're done there. Let's go over to the other side here. A little bit less chainmail, but nonetheless, it's nice to paint it. And this side as well. Again, spears, or tip of the spears. As a Roman history geek, I also want to thank Warlord Games for giving me these miniatures to paint, and so I can show you these guys. And really appreciate that from Warlord Games. Thank you very much. I already see that I made some mistakes here that I'm going to go over and correct in the mids. And that's resolving the I missed some red parts, so I'm going to fix this immediately. It's better to fix it now before I forget about it, and that happens. And where was they? Where were they? Yeah, a little bit here. And on top, which I forgot. Ah, there it was. On the side, from the front here. All right. Thank you for your patience for this one, and we go over to the last batch for the frontline infantry. The front one, we're almost dried now. We'll go over to paint the spears and chainmail armor as well. We'll start with the spears this time. If you like this video, please click subscribe. It really helps to grow the channel and to give visibility on YouTube. For all of you who subscribed to the channel so far, a big thank you. It means the world to me that you subscribe and follow me here, and also even more if you click a like and a comment to let me know what I'm doing is good or not. Any comment is appreciated. I do answer every comment, even if it's whether it's praise or criticism. And the back ones, another layer is sometimes needed to get that nice finish. And now for the chainmail. You can paint them as a batch as such. Looks quite nice. And don't forget the last one here. Okay, with this one said, we're going to turn our attention to the bronze helmets before we paint the faces. And we'll keep this one on the same handle here, and we're going to show you which, my apologies, some Vallejo bronze. I'm using it neat for the helmets. You can also use Retributor armor gold if you want to from Citadel. That's also perfectly fine. Here I'm painting the front. I'll zoom in for you guys. It looks like this. I also try to improve the light in my studio. I hope it shows a little bit more now that it's a little bit less dark. Here I'm gonna put it back here, and I'm gonna paint the back and the sides. Quite time consuming this is. Almost sound like Yoda now. Time consuming this process is, but it is really nice when you get it done, because those helmets really shine when it comes to the work that you put in, and also to add those details of the front rank. Don't forget the sides here. Can be a little bit tricky to get to, but by angling the miniature, you will get the hang of it. And if you touch some other parts, you can always fix those mistakes later on. Looks quite nice now. I'm going to do the same for these ones, closing the paint pot so I don't spill it all over. It happens before, it's very annoying. I curse it when it happens. I can't curse on YouTube because then it's not going to be friendly. So I try to curse in silence, but to avoid doing that, you should just close your paint pots. As for the miniatures, in terms of time-wise, what we've got left is the spear shafts, to give some details for the shields, buckles on the and straps on the armor and sandals, as well as painting skin details. Just give you an idea of what we have left. It goes fairly quickly once you get the hang of it. painting the back. And as always, I'm aiming for a tabletop level of the miniatures. It's not going to win you any competitions, but it will make it look quite nice on the table. A second layer might be needed, as you see fit. Looks quite okay now. Some tiny details left. And the helmets, I try to put extra attention on the helmet because they really make the miniatures stand out in all the red and dark colors. So, as such, and as we got one left, stay with me. It's only got the helmets on the last line. As such, angling the miniature, and probably ask me why are they wearing bronze helmets. Bronze was very a good material to use back in the time, before they had used steel helmets, as was common later on in the Empire days. But bronze was readily available, and also it was used throughout the classical era. Both in the Greek mythologies, they used bronze helmets. If you can remember the Spartans, they also had bronze helmets. It was fairly strong, and it was not that expensive, if I'm not mistaken. It also looked quite nice. So bronze was a good material to have back in the day. So if you played things like games like Civilization or other Civilization games, bronze is not just something that you use in miniature painting. And this was an actual material. We're coming up at the end of the Bronze Age, I was about to say. Okay, looks quite okay. Now we're done with the bronze helmets. Thank you for your patience. And now we're going to come up to painting the spears. So we give everything time to dry. We are going to use a color called, if I can find it, yes it is, Flat Earth from Vallejo. Give it a good shake, putting it out in our palette. Spears here are like this. And you can see the sides here. They're very easy to paint, and they also add a nice level of details that is not really shown in the Principes and the Velitas infantry. They are really and clearly shown here. I also have to commend Warlord Games for incredible level of details on these miniatures. You could really see that it's a Roman line infantry. Don't forget the back here. And the back here as well, there's also a spear tip here, don't forget that. It's also very easy to miss, that's why I'm showing you these ones first. push the brush up here. And on the side here. I'm not going to show you actually how to paint the others' spears. It's going to be quite self-explanatory. So instead, I'm going to show you how to paint the skin details, because that's it really matters in these parts. So for these ones, I'm going to paint them with some speed paint Vrusader skin, and then maybe put some Cadian Fleshtone over them. So as such, don't use too much paint on these ones, just cover the paint as such. Just to get some nice color on them. I can use that also for the hands, as well as any legs here as well. You want it soaking in the and the back here. You can do that too if you haven't painted it with the red tunics. Very basic. I'm going to show you also how to do it for the back line of it, like this. You just cover the entire thing here with this color. You want to let it soak through, and then you can worry about details afterwards. Also serves as a kind of like, you know, all the men were like they're squeezed in together in lines, and you don't differentiate that much between whose leg was whose leg. So make sure it doesn't soak too much, and move the paint away as you see fit. Here we have to adjust it a little bit more. As such, you can adjust these ones as well. And you can paint, while we're already at it, we can paint these one batch wise. If you want more details, you can apply some Cadian Fleshtone to add some more interesting detail if you want to. Don't forget the hand here. All right, looks quite okay, with one exception. We need to paint the arms here on the back. Don't forget that. As such. Slight adjustments. Okay. With that said, we're coming in fairly to a close, but I want to give some more details on the shields. They're looking a bit too dark and gritty. So what we're going to do here, we're going to take some Mephiston red. We're going to dry brush the miniatures as this. Put the cork back on this one. And we're going to take a dry brush. Let's see if we find a dry brush. Yes, here's my dry brush. And I'm going to take a lot of paint on the brush as such, And then we're going to wipe off, let's see if I can find some paper here. I'm going to wipe off most of the paint off the brush, as such. And then we're going to move it in circles, as such, to blend in the colors nicely. Since this is the front of the miniature, I put extra detail on this one. As such. And as such, I will also paint the spears here because it is the front of the miniature. I forgot to do that before, I said I shouldn't, but it looks really much nicer when I show the miniature what it looks like. If it's actually looks nice and done and not any white parts. It's a quick fix for this. And you can use the dry brush on all the other shield parts as well, even on the tunics if you feel for it. And here on the back of the shield, I will also paint this one with the brown flat earth here, simply because it was a wooden shield and it was not painted red in the back, if I'm not mistaken. Looks much better with the spears painted. As such, we'll leave this one to dry a little bit. We're going to go over to paint one detail that I said we should, and that is the back of the miniatures. Oops, doesn't glue fit again. We have to adjust this one a little bit. As I said, we need some more materials for this one, and that is Steel Legion Drab from Citadel. And to give this one a little bit of contrast when it comes to the belt here on the back. And if you get too much on it, that's fine. You can add as dirt or battle damage. You can also add a little bit on the sandals here once it's dried. Showing it right now for you, so you can actually do that later on as you see fit once it's dried. As such, you'll do the same thing with the others. Now, I want to add a level of details for the shields, and there's going to be some pure Mephiston red. You can, if you want to, use a brighter red if you want to, if you have them. You can use some vampire red here if you want to. I'm going to show you the difference. I might use vampire red if I have anything left. Yeah, I had a little bit left. So go back to the shield. And paint the inside of the shield with this one. Taking care not to cover the middle parts. Because that's going to be another color. which we'll come up with in our final stage. If you're looking for all the paints used in this video, don't worry, there will be a full list in the description box below here. And you can use this for all the other shields as well. As such, I will show you also what it will look like with some Mephiston red as a difference. And this will be, for example, this shield here. It's a little bit warmer. And the top can also serve as to fill in any mistakes you made. Okay, as such, good job. If you're following this video and painting along, good job, and good job to me for actually making it this far. You can also use this one to paint these ones and give them a little bit brighter if you want to. The plumes are a focal point of the miniature. It's your choice if you want to keep them, they are from the contrast paint, or if you want to add a little bit more details and vibrancy with an extra layer here. Okay, as such, correcting them like this. You can also do the same thing for the tunics. If you want to have a little bit more details, now we're getting into the highlight stage, like this. You can also do that with the painting of the faces now if you want to. And finally, for our final stage, we're going to go back to the shields and paint the metal in with some silver, and that's the shield boss. And that adds a nice level of detail. As such, maybe 2 layers would be needed. But to add an extra level of detail for the shield, I'm going to show you some Retributor armor from Citadel. I'm going to use that to actually paint parts of the shield boss as well. You can get some paint out. And that is this part, the top part here. Top and bottom. Got a bit messy in the other one. And if you now have a decal, now is the time to put them on the shields. And because these are Triarii, they're painting their shields a little bit differently, a little bit more detailed as part of the other Principes or Velites. Alright, you can do the same thing for the rest. You can also add this one on and add a level of detail for the shield, for the helmets as a highlight. They will add them a little bit more glowing as a highlight for the helmets. As you can see, they're a little bit more not so dull looking, so to say. Anyways, I want to say thank you very much for watching this video. I'm going to now show you how to put them a little bit on this sprue. If you want to see that, you simply attach them underneath here, and then you simply attach the other one straight into it, like this, and then you add the back as such. That's how easy it is. This was Roman Triarii Republic Heavy Infantry. If you enjoyed this video, please share, like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you very much for watching.